Afternoon. Bang on time. Love it. So, hi, I'm Carl Thomas. I'm going to spend the next sort of however long, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, if that, talking to you about marketing your photography business. Now, let me put the banner up because it's not there. It should be there. Ticker. So, this exclusive full frame club is now open. Only till Sunday, though, as well as our normal Academy membership as well, which is open until Sunday. Let me put the website in here for you, www.beyondthelensacademy.com. So first time I've typed that without getting a spelling mistake. Beyond the Lens. So if you go to the website right now, right at the top, there's a little bit of a video, which is just me, one of these videos actually, just explaining about things, and you can join. And we have put together some pretty amazing offers. Let me show you what that looks like. Let me find it on the here while people are logging in. What we're doing. Get the website open up. I'll share it with them. Right, let's come back here. So bit of a glitch there. Oops. I hope you can see me all right. Looks like it's still working. Don't know, I really don't know what happened there. It suddenly went dead. So what I'm going to do, there's the website address. Before we get into some tips and techniques and how I get around marketing my photography business, and it will be different for each of you because you may all have different businesses, let me just show you. I'm just trying to find something here. Switch that off. Too many things open on this computer. Show you the website, which is www.beyondthelensacademy.com. Share screen. Pink. So you should now be looking at the website. So there's a little video of me at the top, which you can play if you want. There's a little countdown time, just to remind you that it is only 2 days, 20 hours to go. And you can scroll down the website. There's all sorts of information on here about who we are, what we do, what the Academy's about. There's a little video here. Scroll down a bit about our trips to places like Mull, which you're doing next year. There's all the information here about the full membership, which is the normal membership for people who are not interested in earning a living from photography, but are amateurs or beginners or whatever it might be. And then if I click on the bit at the top here, look, click here to find out more and join today. This is what that looks like. It's another page which has got more information, some of the exciting features, which I'll just touch on in a minute for you. So don't worry that I'm scanning through quite quickly. And then we get to the fun bit. So next year it's £1,497 a year. The Academy memberships included, included as well, which is £547. So all this stuff, and I'll talk some more about it today, has a value of over £2,044, and we are doing a one-off annual payment £497. Bonkers, I know, but it's been a hard year for a lot of people. So let me just stop the screen a minute. Hard year for a lot of people. A lot of people had various different challenges. So I thought we'd go in and make it easy and attractive and frankly a no-brainer. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that aspect of it in a moment. But for the meantime, let's have a little talk about marketing your photography business, shall we? Because that's what I said I'd be talking about. So let's do it. In the meantime, anybody got any questions? Pop them in the comments. I'll happily answer them if you're not sure about anything, or you want to ask me a question related to this or anything, actually, photography-wise. So, marketing your photography business, very important, because you could have the best business in the world with the best photos and be the greatest photographer, but if you can't get the word out there so that people know who you are, how to find you, and how to book you and buy your products and all that kind of stuff, it's kind of a bit difficult. So for me, I'll talk about my story. I started off the dog photography business, which is what I specialize in. We've got people in the Academy that do all sorts, but that's my specialty. In 2015, May. So 6 years later, slightly over 6 and a bit years later, I've got 30,000 people to follow me, and I've got a very successful dog photography business that is sometimes difficult to keep up with, frankly, but it's good. I'm not complaining at all. I love it. And so how did I do that? Well, the first thing I did apart from the obvious, Facebook and social media, was make sure I had a decent portfolio of images and I was ready to expose myself to the world, as so the saying goes. So having got to that point, I then set up a Facebook page, a website, and Instagram page, I think, to start with, all of which can be done in a day. You know, if you sit yourself down, a big part of what we do in this Full Frame Club, we help people with that right at the beginning of their sort of journey, get themselves all set up and ready to sort of rock and roll in such a way that you'll get exposed and you'll get seen, because that's what it's about. Got to be seen. And I did quite well quite quickly, but it took me a little while to work out, being of the older generation, shall we say, the whole kind of social media thing, how best to play it. Because Facebook page, simple. We've got my little logo sorted out. There's one here, look, which is kind of, this is the Beyond Lens Academy one, but there's another one for Carl Thomas Photography. Got that sorted out, posted some pictures, put a post up about how I work and what stuff costs, and sat and waited. And I got some followers and I got some bookings. But the key to it, and it is still true today when it comes to social media, is having a process, having a strategy. And that's something that we will build with anybody who's in the Full Frame Club, of which there's been quite a few people joined already today, which is great. Some of them are already in the private Facebook group, introducing themselves, which is brilliant. But what I did, or what I do, and that made the difference, that turned me into sort of 30,000 followers, sort of in the last sort of 4 or 5 years, how long it's been, is I had a sequence. Because you've got to keep in mind that if you've got, say you've got 1,000 people who follow your work, and let's say you're I don't know, an equine photographer or a dog photographer, it doesn't really matter, but it's an equine photographer. People that follow your work on Facebook, say, Instagram, whatever, social media, aren't all going to be customers of yours. So you've got to keep that in mind, because they are people who follow your work and love your work, who will probably share it, and some of their friends might be customers and so on. But what the key to that point, and the point I'm making, is that if you consistently post every time you do a post, you can be posting regularly, but it's buy this now, I've got a special offer, book me here, you know, limited time deal, all that kind of stuff. Those people who are just following you because they like your work are going to get a bit bored of that, and they'll stop interacting with those posts, and they will start to, you know, not necessarily like what you're talking about. And as a result of that, Facebook watches this, and all these people that initially liked what you were doing start to drift off. So Facebook goes, well, they're not interested, so it won't show them either. So it's a double effect. People are creatures of habit. So those people that are following your work, who are maybe not going to be customers, as well as those that are, will often look at your feed, your Facebook page, or your social media presence at the same time each day. So it might be when they have a coffee and a break at lunchtime, or in the morning, or on the train on the way to work, or on the train on the way home from work, or having a glass of wine in front of the TV, or whatever it might be. And as a result of that process, it's important to keep in mind that if you are not there with a new, fresh post that's exciting and interesting to them regularly, when they show up, because that's what they've been doing, they get bored and they move on somewhere else. I used an analogy the other day of a coffee shop. You go to a coffee shop on the way to catching the train every morning. You go in, you order your latte, and the machine's broken. Oh, okay. Not the end of the world. I'll come back tomorrow and ask the same sort of thing. And guess what? It's broken again. You may, that's annoying, and you go and get it from the one on the station, which isn't as nice. Three strikes and you're out. The third time you'll be like, you know what? I'll start going somewhere else. I'll make my coffee at home or whatever. And social media's like that. If you've got a following that are constantly engaging with you, and then all of a sudden for a period of time you're not there, or on a Wednesday, Thursday you're busy because you're out doing some work, then you could start losing things quite quickly. Building up a social media following is like this. It's like a Titanic. It takes quite a while. Losing it is like that. It can happen really, really quickly. So, you know, just keep that in mind. Now, the other thing that's important, let's have a little look. Ryan, so 15 months. Yep, there you go, Ryan. And that one person, or 2 people, or 10, could be the people that would have been your next customer. You know, they could have been, my last customer was £1,400, I think, or something like that. You know, it's losing a lot of money. Really important. But then, of course, having got that bit right, so let's assume you've mastered that and you're posting regularly and they're following you and liking your work and commenting and all that kind of stuff and sharing. Bear in mind, 1 like, 1 share. On average, people on social media platforms have 300-400 friends. So if I share something that I like, then my 400-500 friends see it. and therefore followers is very exponential. So don't get stressed about the amount of shares and the amount of likes you get. Not important, really. But what will happen, what I do now is I post very regularly. I try to. I've been a bit rubbish of late because we've been so busy with this. But I'll try and post most days, and I'll just put pictures of, because I'm a dog photographer, so pictures of dogs up with a little one-liner, and that's it. And I do that quite regularly, and people love it. They consume it. There's not horrible links on there, so they'll share it and comment on it. If they do comment on it, I comment back, and I don't just say cheers. I'll try and make a bit more of a sentence out of it because Facebook looks at that. And then what I'll do is I do like a soft sell. So every now and again, every week or so, I'll go, oh, actually, same sort of post, a couple of nice doggies and a little one-liner, followed with, if you're interested in a photo session, drop me a message. That's it. What I would call a soft sale. So nothing overly onerous, but just something that reminds people that actually you're a business and that, you know, they've been following you for a while and they go, actually, that's a good point. I thought about that. I might do that. You know, it might be a Christmas present, or it could be something that just ticks somebody over the edge, as it were. Quite a lot of the people that have booked me that have been following my work, because you can see when somebody follows you, when they followed you, and if they message you, it will say followed you since or liked since. Quite often it's a year or so. So it's like an ongoing sort of process. And then every month or so, I'll do an offer, which is what I would call a hard sell. It's not really, but that's what I would call a hard sell. So, and that might look like the same sort of thing. So maybe a few more images of my portfolio or some of the stuff that I'm known for with an offer. Bank holiday weekend, Christmas is coming, half price vouchers or something like that. And that little cycle is repeatable, and you just keep doing it. That's all I do, and it works a treat. Just look at the number of followers I got. And it's helping me, you know, keep my business going and very successful as a result of it. So, you know, I am not complaining at all. What you have to do, though, is be consistent. Yeah, you do have to keep posting, because if you're not there and you're not posting, nothing's going to happen. So remember to have a process of posting regularly. It doesn't have to be every day. It's not a bad thing if you can do that, but certainly every other day, several times a week at least. And then if you are going to be away working, because the more you do this, the busier you get, and you normally post at 8 in the morning or lunchtime or in the evening, you can schedule a post. You can sit down and go, oh, okay, I'm going to do this picture here, this picture there. Schedule those posts so that all goes on in the background. It pops up and people think you're doing all your work when you're out working. You might be out having a holiday. You might be on a beach somewhere. Who knows? But your social media presence with all those people are coming to your coffee shop every day because the coffee's there and they love it. And enough of them will buy other things when they're there. That's the whole concept of it. So that's, I mean, I call that like a 3-2-1 structure, but that is very, very powerful and works really well. Another one that is quite good, I say quite good, very good, is referrals. So when you do get to a point when you've had some customers or got some customers, nothing wrong with asking them to sort of say, look, do you know anybody else who'd be interested in an equine shop or a dog photography session or whatever, or somebody who's you've just done a wedding shop for? You know, do you know anybody else to get married or anything like that? It's just simple things. And there is nothing more powerful in terms of leads, you know, generation of leads and stuff like that. They probably heard the term cold leads and warm leads and hot leads. A referral, somebody that comes to me, a friend of mine says, oh, Fred Blogs has recommended you. I'm like, oh, right, okay. Yeah, flipping heck. Oh, but I might look at that. It becomes more important and has a higher value because it's been recommended. So really important. So referrals, don't underestimate it. Obviously, I mean, I'm going to touch on the website. It's really important. It's not essential to have a website, but these days most people have. So, you know, and it's not difficult to set up. Have a website, make it nice and clean. If you're a photographer, which is what we are talking about here, irrespective of whatever your genre is, stick to it. I don't recommend having, I'm a dog photographer. My website has got, I mean, there's a few of these feeds on there at the moment about their club, but ordinarily it's dogs, and more dogs. Not the other stuff I do, which is, you know, this sort of stuff, long exposures, landscapes, you know, wildlife when we're up in Scotland. There's a doggy there slipped in. You know, all this sort of stuff. I love doing it and I'm quite good at it. And we help people when we do the trips away, signature photography trips as we call them. But I don't put that on my dog photography page because people who are going to book me because they like my work and they know I specialize in dogs, and that's what I do. So that's something to be mindful of. But keep your website clean, keep it up to date. Mine could do with a bit of a refresh. Some of the images on there are a little bit dated now. But it kind of is what it is. It works. I use it also to demonstrate to clients. It will show clients their galleries of images when I've done a photo session. So it's quite useful from that point of view. And then the other thing is you can do, and we're just talking generally about marketing. Let me see if there's any comments. I don't think there is. We did that one, didn't we? Oh, yeah. Is get away from your computer and go out. Well, I know. Shock horror. So, like for me, dog photography. So, all the vets, local garden centres, all the dog groomers. If you're an equine photographer, all the equine suppliers, riding stables, liveries. If you're a wedding photographer, wedding boutiques, hotel venues, wedding venues, all that kind of stuff. Go along and find all the. I mean, you don't want to travel the whole country doing it, but wherever you tend to operate in your local area, spend a couple of days going out with something to give them to, business cards, maybe even an A5 leaflet or a bigger leaflet or something like that. Bars of chocolate, bits of giveaways, and just introduce yourself. Hi, just let you know this is what I'm doing. I'm a professional dog photographer. I live locally. And some of the vets, would it be okay if I put a frame up? You can probably see behind me. So that focus, the depth of field set nicely on this thing. But have some stuff, and that can be very, very powerful because those are all little places where there's footfall going in and out, and there's a reasonable chance one of your customers will turn up, and they'll be looking and go, "Oh yeah, he did my dog, or he did my wedding, or whatever it might be." It's really powerful. And when you've done it, don't just leave it. Make a note of them all. Make sure you know which ones you went to, and go back every couple of weeks. Pop in and say hello to the people on reception. Get to know them. Be nice to them. Drop them a box of chocolates in now and again, a bunch of flowers or whatever. And if you get customers that have come through you from your local vets, I've done this. I go back and I give them something as a proper little gift, because you then become the top of the list when it comes to referrals. When somebody says in my local vets, "Oh, you don't suppose you know any dog photographers, do you?" They go, "Oh yeah, there's a bloke called Carl Thomas. He's local. He's amazing." Not hard, but the amount of people who don't do it, you would be amazed. So those are the sort of the main sort of things to think about. There are lots of other things you can do. I mean, you can do advertising on Facebook and all the social media platforms, and that kind of is what it is. So you'll get a post up that is relevant. So sometimes when I do my third type of post, which I call the semi-hard sell, if it's like Christmas voucher offer or something like that, then I might boost it, or I might do an advert on it. Now, Facebook has or social media has changed a lot recently with the iOS updates, but things are getting better. Even though the targeting is not as good as it was, it's not the whole process is improving. Certainly, that's what I'm finding. So let me tell you a little bit more about the Full Frame Club, unless there's any more questions about that. But while we're here, and what's involved in it. So it is. I mean, we've got the Academy membership. So if you go on the website and you scroll down, you'll see what we call the Academy full membership, and that's really all about beginners, amateurs, photographers. We cover all sorts of things in there in relation to your photography journey. But the Full Frame Club, that's ticking along here. Look, there it is. Tick, 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 tick. Is a new launch today, only open until Sunday. Reinvigoration of what we used to call Pro Aspiring Pros, and this is a membership platform that includes the Academy, includes the photography membership as well. So you get all that as well in addition. But this is all about earning a living from your photography. So whether it's full-time, part-time, or you've got an existing business and you want to diversify or change or reinvigorate, this is what you need to be thinking about. And I set it up because when I set my business up, I got some help and support, but it was all over the place in terms of different formats from different people. You can join and have a look if you're on Beyond the Lens Academy Facebook page. If you're not, go to it. Have a look at the reviews at the top. There's plenty of people who've joined, gone through this process with me, and have now got successful photography businesses earning four-figure sums quite regularly from clients and earning a great living, full and all part-time. Not as complicated as you might think. So what kind of stuff do we talk about? Well, the first and the most obvious one is going to be business setup, isn't it? So we will help you with, we're not accountants or financial advisors, make that clear, but I've got my business and it works. So we'll talk about sole trader versus limited company for you, those sort of things. Then we talk about the full or part-time scenario, how best to manage that. What does that look like? I started off as part-time, sort of a bit of a hobby, really. Thought, well, let's see what happens. And look what happened. I mean, blimey. Pricing, really important. So many photographers get this wrong in that they don't charge enough. Very rarely have I come across photographers charging too much. They never charge enough. And that's a psychological thing as well, because it's your own work, it's an art thing. Photographers find that difficult. So I will help you with the pricing of what you do in terms of if you charge for your session, plus then what people buy in terms of albums, frames, and digitals, or whatever it might be. I'll talk you through that in some detail in terms of how I've done it, how I've achieved it, and how I've managed to make a very successful living from doing it. In terms of formats, there's lots of things in the club. So when you log on, you get access to the full membership, which has got tons and tons of webinars that have been recorded live, and they're now in there for you to watch. The same, there's quite a lot of stuff in the full frame club there already as well, but that gets added to on a weekly basis. So I do weekly live mastermind webinars about specific subjects. So this week we've done the one I did earlier today for our members was about having an editing workflow, making sure you have that structure set up. We did one, I can't remember, let me have a look. Let me find out what we did early in the week, so I can't remember. I've done so many lives this week. Oh, we had a freestyle this week where I go live and we talk about whatever we want. They're very popular. But yeah, it can be anything. And we do that every week as a group. And also these can be one-to-one as well. So particularly for the full frame club members, ticking on the bottom there, that is often an important part of it. So everybody who joins gets a one-to-one introduction chat with me live like this. Except instead of being in the comments, we're physically speaking to each other, just to establish who we are and say hello and all that kind of stuff. We can start getting a bit of a plan in place. And some of the things we might want to talk about, pricing, profit, even some of the business setup things, are best done one-to-one. So that's what we do. So this, don't confuse what we're offering with a lot of, all very good though they are, platforms where you pay a fee and you get access to a lot of videos. It's not what we're about. You do get access to a lot of pre-recorded stuff. That was recorded live, but that's the only a part of it. So profit, not a dirty word. Important that we make enough of it, because otherwise you won't survive. And so we spend a lot of time helping people, combined with pricing, obviously, to make sure that whatever they're doing, whether it's full or part-time, it becomes a profitable arrangement for them. It doesn't matter whether they're going to make £1,000 a week, £10,000 a week. It's making profit from it, because revenue is, what do they say? Sales is vanity, profit is reality, or something. I can't remember the term that these dragons use, but anyway, profit, what's left in the bank that you pay tax on. Mentorship. So this, as I say, it's not just pre-recorded stuff. I'm here all the time, support as well as other members of the team, but I'm there supporting you all the way through this journey with the ups and downs, the challenges. There's a private Facebook group that is a great support for everybody. The people that have joined already today are already in there chatting and introducing themselves. Really important. So mentorship and support helps with confidence. It gives you a backup, so that, when you're about to do your first client, for example, those sort of scenarios can be quite tense. So I'll often have conversations with people about, don't forget this, try that, or how did it go? Let's have a little bit of a debrief. Really important. Next bit, even more important, I would say, is accountability. So in the early stages of setting up a business, it often goes like this. Very good friends of mine I've talked to in the local pub over the years. Oh yeah, I'm going to set up this business. I'm going to become a local carpenter or a local sort of DIY man or whatever it might be. Like, oh, great. Okay. Yeah, well, I'm getting my logo sorted out. I'm thinking my name. Brilliant. So I see him a week later, have a pint. Say, hello, mate. How are you getting on? How's that going? Yeah. I've got all the logo stuff now. And this cycle of planning, getting prepared, can go on and on and on, which is not good, because you need to take action. You need to get stuff done, because if you don't get stuff done, you're not going to make any money and you're not going to move forward and learn and grow. So accountability, dink, 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 is important. And that's me holding you accountable. So when you say, oh, I've got my logo sorted out and I'm, about to go, I need to get the website sorted. It's like, great. And you need help with that? Let's have a one-to-one. Next week when I catch up, it's like, how's that going? And if you haven't got anywhere with it, it's not like you don't get fined or sacked or anything like that, but it's just a gentle encouragement. And because it's there, it will help you make yourself keep motivated to get these things done. So it's important. The business strategy is a very key part of anything. So all of the things we've talked about so far, those things I've pointed out here, all come together in an overall strategy. So what does that look like? You're going to be full or you're going to be part-time. What's your strategy in terms of earnings? Is this something that you just want to do on the side and have quite a leisurely approach to it? Is this something you want to go full on and earn a big living out of it? All that's really important. I've touched today, with this FaceTime or Facebook Live is all about lead generation. So I've talked about that, but that's important. That's an ongoing thing. And then customer management. So what's the process when somebody inquires? Well, I send them an email. Yeah, but then what? And how long do you leave it? What do you send them? And it's understanding that process, having a methodology behind it. Might seem straightforward, but you'd be amazed amount of people who don't have it. Skills and equipment. And we talk about all that in some detail and the skills necessary, which span all sorts of things, not just the business side of things and the profit margins and all that, but also the selling side of things, because you are effectively going to be selling. We're going to be talking about, actually using your camera. There are better ways to use your camera than some people do sometimes. So we look at all of that. Editing. I'm an Adobe accredited associate for my sins. So we spend quite a bit of time. Most weeks we touch on editing, helping you either on a one-to-one basis or in the masterclasses with process, keeping you up to date with the new features. I did one this week. In fact, you've probably seen it. It's on the page here somewhere. The new Lightroom masking tools, because that's confused a few people. Portfolio. So what is your shop window going to look like? What is it you're going to offer? Well, I'm an equine photographer. Okay, so let's look at images. Let's look at your best images and what it is you're going to try and recreate. So that's important. And social media strategy. And I've touched on that this morning. So, and it's not the only thing. In fact, I'm just going to create another one here because I've just thought of one. Which, I mean, this is not personal. Type in the word personal style. If I can spell it, might help. Put that up. Personal style. That's really important because without it, it becomes more difficult for people to book you. It's about what makes you stand out. It's your brand. So we talk about that in some detail. And I did a webinar about it the other day, actually. So there's one of them on this page somewhere. If you scroll up down, you'll find it. So let's have a look. Coughing. Too much chatting. Well, you've got 26 minutes. I do go on, don't I? But anyway, as you can tell, I'm quite passionate about it. We've had a number of people join already today, which is great. The doors are open for both the normal membership, as I call it, full membership, if you're just a photographer. Probably shouldn't say the word just, but if you're a photographer and you're not planning on making money from your photography. But if you want to make money from your photography, become a professional full or part-time, or reinvigorate your existing business, the Full Frame Club is all about that. And the opportunity at the moment to join for one-off payment is ridiculously low because it will be 3 times that next year or 4 times that next year. When we won't be opening the doors again, probably until March. I don't expect it at the earliest, because once we get everybody in, we spend our time working very closely with them because it's a real hand-holding exercise. It's not, as I've said, just a load of pre-recorded videos. So thanks for joining the webinar today. I've got the next one now tonight. If this has sort of got your attention, we're thinking about things, and you're still not quite sure about this Full Frame Club, masterclass this evening, 7 o'clock. So I'm going live again, and I'm going to be talking about all the various components of setting up a photography business, full or part-time. So yeah, join us later on tonight for that one. And there's a couple tomorrow, one about, they're on the page here, there's a post that lists them out, about dealing with cheap competition and managing your expectations when it comes to confidence in relation to that. And then I can't remember what the other one was, so let me have a look. There's 2 tomorrow. I'm sure there's 2. Oh yeah, generating leads and managing them. So the process, we'll touch on that a little bit tomorrow. So hope that's been useful. Thanks for coming along. Get to the website, which is below, and get yourself registered and get inside that club, because it is an amazing offer at the moment. And, the ability to earn an income from photography, full or part-time, is the best thing I've ever done. Because if it's your passion, you'll never work a day in your life, they say. Anyway, I shall leave you on that note and hopefully see you inside the academy. See you later. Bye.